The ocean. The secret behind 50% of the missing CO₂. Have you ever looked up at the sky, seen those massive smokestacks pouring out endless fumes, and wondered, where does all that carbon dioxide actually go? We know it rises into the atmosphere. We know it fuels global warming. But here's the twist. Only about half of it stays up there. The other half vanishes. So where does it go? The answer lies right beneath your feet, in the rolling waves of the ocean. Yes, the ocean is hiding the secret of the missing 50% of CO₂. The silent hero. Since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, humanity has burned unimaginable amounts of coal, oil, and gas. Every year, we release billions of tons of CO₂ into the air. If all of it stayed in the atmosphere, our planet would already be scorching, a furnace, unlivable. But here's the surprising truth. The concentration of CO₂ in the air is only about half of what scientists originally expected. Why? Because the oceans have been silently absorbing nearly 50% of everything we've ever emitted. Think of the oceans as a giant lung, inhaling our waste gases, buffering the Earth against runaway heating. At first, that might sound like good news. The oceans are saving us. But the deeper you look, the more unsettling the story becomes. The Great Scientific Quest. In the 1990s, scientists from across the globe launched one of the most ambitious projects in history, the World Ocean Circulation Experiment and the Joint Global Ocean Flux Study. Over nearly a decade, they sailed on 95 separate expeditions, crisscrossing the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. At more than 9,600 locations, they collected water samples, from glittering surface waters to the icy depths below. Imagine the scene. Research vessels battling storms in the middle of nowhere, months away from land. Scientists working day and night to measure invisible gases dissolved in the sea. And the results? Stunning. From the year 1800 to 1994, the oceans absorbed nearly 48% of all CO₂ released from burning fossil fuels and making cement. The great mystery was solved. The missing carbon wasn't missing at all. It was hidden in the depths of the sea. But here's the catch. The ocean isn't bottomless. Studies reveal that right now, the oceans have only absorbed about 1/3 of their maximum potential, which means at some point, the sponge will saturate. The great buffer will fail. And when that happens, global warming won't just speed up, it will race out of control. The dark side, ocean acidification. And even before reaching that limit, the cost is already devastating. When CO₂ dissolves in seawater, it creates carbonic acid. That means the oceans, which held their pH steady for millions of years, are now turning more acidic, faster than ever before. If scientists are right, in just a few decades, the surface of the oceans could become more acidic than at any time in the last 5 million years. Life under siege. Why does that matter? Because countless marine creatures, from tiny plankton to dazzling corals, depend on one simple ingredient: carbonate ions. They use it to build shells, skeletons, reefs. But when the water becomes acidic, those carbonate ions vanish. It's like stealing bricks from the builders. Without bricks, no walls. Without carbonate, no shells. Coral reefs, the rainforests of the sea, can't grow. Shellfish, clams, snails, their protective homes dissolve away. Microscopic organisms like foraminifera and coccolithophores, the very foundation of the ocean's food chain, begin to collapse. And when the foundation crumbles, the entire food web, fish, whales, seabirds, humans, collapses with it. The grim projections. Here's the terrifying forecast. If atmospheric CO₂ climbs to 700 to 800 parts per million by the end of this century, which is entirely possible, populations of shelled organisms could decline by 25 to 45%. Pause for a moment. Imagine nearly half of all shell-building life forms disappearing from the oceans. What happens to the fish that feed on them? What happens to the predators that feed on the fish? What happens to us, the species that depends on the ocean for food, for oxygen, for climate stability? The shield that's cracking. One scientist put it bluntly, the oceans are helping humanity by removing CO₂ from the atmosphere, but that help is damaging the very fabric of ocean life. The ocean has been our invisible shield, our safety net. But that shield is cracking, and once it breaks, there will be no buffer left between us and the full force of climate chaos. The message we must hear. The story of the missing CO₂ isn't a miracle. It's a warning. We cannot keep dumping our emissions and expecting the ocean to clean up after us. The only way forward is to cut CO₂ at the source, shift to clean energy, protect forests, restore ecosystems. Because when the ocean can no longer save us, no one else will. The ocean isn't just a place for vacations, for fishing, for sunsets on the beach. It is Earth's last line of defense. And its future is our future.